Hello and welcome to the next video of Python for chemical engineering calculations. In this video I'm going to talk about lists. Lists represent collections of certain items, and in any programming languages have something similar to that. In many other programming languages they're called arrays. In Python they're called lists. Along with lists there are other types of collections. We're going to talk about them later, which are tuples and sets and also dictionaries. But today we're focused on lists only. So for lists, the order of elements matter and the elements can be repeated. Let's start from some examples. So I will begin with initiating my list. I'll call a variable my list, add a few elements to it, A, B, and C, 3 characters. And the list is defined by these square brackets. And now if I enter my list, it will print me its content, these 3 characters A, B, and C. I can index a certain element, right, with its number. So if it's similarly to strings, if it's a 0th element, I can type my list, square bracket 0, and it will give me a 0th element. If it's the first element, or if it's the last element, very similarly to indexing characters in strings. I want to emphasize, of course, that lists don't have to contain just characters. It could be anything. Let me introduce my list1, another variable of the type list. Let it be, let's say, A, B, C, D, F, list1. It will give me the list of these 3 strings. Let's say I want to see what my first element, the 0th element is, and it will be this entire string, not just the A character. So what can I do with lists? I can actually append additional elements to the list. So let me take my list again, let me look at it, and let me do my list dot append, and then in curly brackets, in the parentheses, I add D. It's a method, so I need to use the parentheses here. So it added the element, the letter D, to the end of my existing list. What's important and what makes lists in Python different compared to arrays in some other programming languages, that the elements of the list could be of any nature and they can be of different nature. For example, if I want to take my list and append to it the letter E, but not the letter E, but the E, Euler's number. Let me introduce a variable E, 272, and then I do my list append E. Note there are no quotation marks. I'm appending these variable, right? And now if I print my list, I will get A, B, C, D, and instead of the, well, for the last element, I have these 272, my variable E. What I can also do, I can change an element in the list. And let's say I want to change first element in the list. So I do my list. To see what's in my first element, I can see my list, square brackets 1, but I can set a certain value for it. And let's say it's a value of 3.14. And now if I print my list, you can see that B is replaced by 3.14. All right, in addition to changing and appending, I can also insert to the list. I can do my list dot insert, and then I can give an index, the position where I'm inserting, and the value. Let's say I'm inserting in the position 3, and I'm inserting a value of 0. My list is now A, then 3.14, C, and then at the index 3, at the position 3, I inserted this 0, and then goes the rest of my list. What else can be done with lists? We can see if a certain element is present in my list, and it will return a Boolean value, whether it's true or false. Let's say A is, without is A in my list? True, because the letter A is here. Or if I do E in my list, well, it will be false, because instead of the letter E, we added the variable E, which is actually 2.72. Also, what we can do, we can find an index of a certain element. If I do my list dot index, and then I give this element, I know the value, but I don't know where it is. Let's say A, it gives me the index of A. Well, if I do my list index D, it will return me the index of the letter T. And if I do it with E, it will give me an error because E is not in the list. In addition to adding, I can certainly delete elements from my list. I do it by the keyword del, my list, and then I just give an index where I want to delete something. And let's say I want to delete something at the index 3, so the 0, which I added and which I don't like, right? And if I print my list again, I have my list without the 0 at the position 3. Additionally, I can get the index of something I want to delete. If I knew, let's say, I wanted to delete my pi number, I can get its index and then delete at this index. So I introduce my variable my index equals my list dot index and then 3.14. So now I know my index, right? And then I can say delete my list and then give here my index, right? And then I'm printing my list and getting my list without the pi number. Also, I can delete elements not referenced by the index, but referenced by the element itself. So let's say I do my list, but instead of del, I do remove. And then I specify the element I want to remove. Let's say I want to remove the letter D. And then my list appears to be AC and 2.72.